Hey guys, this is Merlini of Merlini Dota, and I am bringing you another episode of Merlini Plays Dota 2. This time it is tiny, but it is not the Soul Ring bot Shadowblade tiny that you will usually see me play because I actually don't do very well in the early game. So this was actually all random, and these are the lineups that both teams ended up with, and I think their lineup is like traditionally slightly better than ours, but luckily we have Bounty Hunter, one of my favorite heroes to have on my team in public matchmaking.
Everybody
So
get set.
I will take some advice from the comments from last from my last one, and I have made my overlay correct. I have also switched to player perspective and not free camera or directed camera, so I am actually solo tiny mid. Let me speed up through the early part of the game. I'm solo tiny mid, bounty hunter off lane, and then we do like a triple lane top with Necrolite in a support position, which is a little bit unusual, but with all random, you kind of have to make do with what did I have rolled? And you could just random something a lot crappier than Necrolite, for example. If we got like a Phantom Assassin, that would make our lanes like even worse than before. So you kind of just have to make do. And Boogaloo has made a return, and he is actually playing the support Necrolite. So it's nice to see him back in action. I haven't played with him in a very long time. So looking at their lanes, I think that it could potentially be Dro solo mid, but I also think that it could potentially be a Bat solo mid. So I don't really know who it might be. I've also seen people do solo Venge mid, but most likely it's either Bat or Dro. And if they do Dro bottom, it's going to be like a weird
30
triple lane
seconds
with
to go.
Drow and Venge and CK. If they do Dro middle, it would make Bat jungle and then CK Venge bottom and Tree off lane, which makes it a little bit more sense. So I think it's about half and half chance. So I actually save a little bit of gold. If you notice my starting items, I have a Stout Shield, a Quelling Blade, and just Regen. I'm trying to play very passively and just farm up as much gold and experience as possible in middle without dying. If it's versus Batrider, if it's versus a Dro Ranger, I can get away with this build, get a bottle very, very fast because I can outlast hit her because I'll have Quelling Blade and she'll just have Marksman or her True Shot aura. So I'm pretty comfortable with this build. And if it's Batrider, I'll just spend my first 200 gold on a magic stick. I think I already put it on quick buy. Unfortunately, you can't see like the quick buy and some of the other stuff. So I go mid. I try and get a decent block because I know it's going to be a range hero, and I don't want them to see up my hill. And I get it. We almost have an equal block. Notice the two range creeps are about the same. Mine's like right at the top of the steps, so is his. And I already spent my gold on a magic stick. Chaos Knight actually got first blood, which is not good. I think he was warding a little bit on bottom. Looks like Bounty Hunter already bought a TV scroll and returned back to lane just looking at the minimap, and my magic stick's coming to me right now. I have to make sure that I don't get my chicken snipe right now, so I have to skip this creep kill in order to get a magic stick, but it's very important to get a magic stick early for Batrider, or he's just going to dominate you. I go for stun level 1 just so I can get a few more last hits, because I don't think I'm going to be using toss that early. I actually missed this creep with the Avalanche, but Avalanche, if you alt click on it, it says deals damage over a 1 second duration, which means that it's not actually just straight up 100 damage, which is actually very important for things like last hitting creeps when other creeps are attacking, as well as something like tree armor, which reduces multiple instances of damage. So if I stun him with Avalanche, I'll pretty much do no damage. So I have to deal with tree armor, which is pretty annoying to deal with. I mean, Batrider is already annoying. I have 5 stacks on me, and I should back off very, very soon. I have 6 stacks. It's probably time to back. But tree armor goes up, and he tries to go on me, but luckily I have toss and I can just toss him away. But I still take a lot of damage. I should have watched my stacks a little bit earlier. I let 6 stacks build up way too quickly, and although I didn't die, it does use all my magic stick charges, and it uses half my mana. But tree armor still going on this guy. I need a tango up. I'm fairly close to my bottle, just trying to bring these creeps down a little bit so I can last hit a little bit better. I thought I would be able to get that range creep with Quelling Blade. Looks like Batrider has bottled a haste rune, which is rather unfortunate. I didn't actually see him get that rune, so I have to check it myself. I look at bottom, I know that there's no rune. I also know that no one rotated from bottom because I still see those 2 heroes and I see Dro in the off lanes, so now I check his inventory, I see he has a haste rune, and I have to play like very, very defensive. I actually have 234 mana right now, which was a slight oversight on my part. I actually thought I had 240, and Tree Armor goes right as he goes on me. I try and toss him to creep, and I want to stun him right before, but unfortunately I don't actually have enough mana to stun him. And if I had stunned him at a tower, he would have died, so that is very, very unfortunate. And then now I'm on my way to feeding because I don't have Bottle yet. He has Bottle, he has Boots, and he has Tree Armor, so he can probably keep diving me, and my support top are kind of forced to try and zone out the Drow Ranger and the tree at this point. But I'm just like, okay, well, I can play passive. Hopefully I'll get some rune luck, or he will get some bad rune luck, and I just need to try and minimize this. I am still trying to block my creep so that I can get some more last hits. I have more base damage than him right now, but he has like way more farm. He is out leveling me quite a bit because he's already killed me, and he has Tree Armor, so he can dive me where normal Batriders actually couldn't dive because they have to worry about the stun toss combo, which does a lot of damage, and he has to like run over me for Firefly. So that is something to consider. I'm like even scared to go out for this creep. The turn radius, or the turn rate on Sticky Napalm, is probably the most annoying thing about it, and it's like a flat 70% turn rate at any level of Sticky Napalm, and you only need one stack, which I think is the most imbalanced part about him. I think that Lasso's a great skill, but having Napalm like that, it's pretty much like a free stun whenever you turn around, and all you need to do is just like drop it once. It's AoE, almost costs no mana. It gives a magic stick charge, but that's very little cost for what it does, and especially over someone like Tiny, it does come into play later in the game. But luckily my side lanes are doing not so badly. I check the scoreboard now and then. Looks like Bounty Hunter and I are feeding 0-1-0-2, but our triple lane is doing well. Nano on the Faceless Void is getting the farm experience that it needs, so I'm perfectly okay with them. I like try and stun him right now, but I actually keep trying. I like turn on him and I can't actually stun him. I casted it like while he was frostbitten, but I actually didn't get it off in time because I misjudged it. I queued up another command after the stun, so he actually is able to kill me at this point, which is rather unfortunate. But luckily we have 4 people come and babysit me because I am not doing very well in middle. Also, yeah, so that was just really bad. I should have stunned him during the frostbite. I don't know if we actually would have killed him, but it would have been much closer than what happened before. But at least in the end, we did get the Batrider down. So I'm still in like recovery mode right now. I don't have Bottle right now. Bounty Hunter's rotated, so he's left the lane empty on bottom. I have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, these are, I don't know why they show them as red wards. I guess it's the opposing team, but I still think of red as Dire and green as Radiant. But I know that these 2 heroes are in middle. I know that Batrider's middle as well as Vengeful Spirit, so I can farm safely at least for the time being, even though CK is Tree Armor right now. I don't have boost right now, so I'm a little bit scared, but he arrested me down. I'm at like this weird HP point, 250 HP, where I like kind of want to flask up, but I don't really want to, so I'm being a little bit greedy here by not using my flask. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, it's just a CK, hopefully he can't kill me right now, and I have my Bottle coming to me very, very soon, so I probably shouldn't die. Bounty Hunter doesn't have his ultimate yet. You can check up here, there's no little green square, so he's probably very close to level 6 though. Looking at his, oh, he is level 6. I don't know why he doesn't have his ultimate, but he hasn't skilled it yet. Anyways, waiting for my Bottle right now. I still see Batrider middle, so I know I'm okay, at least for the time being, on the bottom lane. We also have an Observer Ward, so if they gank me, then they need to use a smoke, or they have to come from lane. But Bat shouldn't have his blink. He died, and it's very, very early for a blink dagger timing, so I don't necessarily need to worry about that. He has Tree Armor on me now. I'm at like very... So I get 4-second stun, and then I like think I'm gonna survive with my Stout Shield, and then I get crit before I can pop my Bottle Charges or even stun him, which is very unfortunate. Avalanche actually has a travel time, so he would have been able to get 1 hit off me if I had. I probably should have tossed him away, but I still had a turn to him, so like during the turn, I probably would have taken 1 more hit. So I just wanted to like run away, bottle up, stun him, and then keep running away. Looks like Nano is in a lot of trouble on time. But I'm 0-3. I don't have boots. It's 7 minutes in. This is like very, very poor start. Probably one of the poorest starts I had. It all started from one misplay of middle where I didn't have enough mana to stun him at tower, and then after that he got ahead. Granted, he did have tree armor and a haste stream, but I still should be playing much more passively than I was. I should just be sitting like right under the tower, just like using my mana on creeps, constantly bottle crowing. That would have been the correct way to play, but I like to take risks sometimes, and sometimes it does not pay off. So I'm 0-3-1, still no boots, just trying to get whatever I can. They still have the sentry ward in middle, so it's very difficult to gank them. I try and use toss to spam him down a little bit, but tree armor negates most of the damage, and he has track on him, but Bounty Hunter knows that this is probably not a kill opportunity. I don't have enough mana right now, and he has tree armor, so, and they have a sentry ward, so it's very difficult. And he tracks him up so we can see him. I want to get the 8-minute rune. I see that it's not bottom. I really want to get this invis, so I'll toss him, stun him out, grab the invis, and I actually think that he has a sentry ward because he like flame breaks over me. And then I'm like, right now I'm trying to toss Plump Plump onto him, and then I realized that he's running away from me, and then I ended up dying in the Firefly because I thought I could toss him. Again, it kind of has to do with the turn rate, but that was also a slight misplay on my part. And Chicken MC back to the streets is absolutely demolishing us right now. He is probably going to get another kill on Sour Tails, so that is like 3 kills where we almost should have gotten one toss damage would have killed him right there. He has 115 HP, that like 150 damage is toss, so if I had gotten the toss off, it would have killed him, but whatever. It seems like this game is going very, very poorly for us, which it is. Also, Batrider went Treads like right after this instead of saving for a Blink Dagger. I'm actually not sure why he did that, but I assume that he would have his blink right about now. He just like got a lot of kills. He's been farming mid pretty much unhindered, and he's only died 1 time, and we've been forced to like rotate a lot of heroes. So this bat has been creating like immense amounts of space for his team. I still don't have boots. It's almost 10 minutes in, and the whole entire time CK has been farming bottom. Looking at CK's items right now, he pretty much has his armlet and treads and a bracer and 400 gold, and he's level 9. So like, the scoreboard and everything is just looking very, very bad right now. I don't want to stay in mid because I think that Batrider has his blink right now. They just won a pretty big fight. He still has brown boots, and I have to play very, very scared and passively, which I don't like doing, but I know that there is a time and place to do so. And we have a ward up top, so I deem it safe to farm. I didn't know that they have reserve warrior that is useful to know later, but we have a ward there, so I can farm boots up here safely, and I need to get small items so I can get back into this game. I got my magic wand because I'm too poor to afford boots, and I need like small gold, and I'm just trying to get my boots. 333 gold. See a lot of heroes on middle. I believe we have a ward there. And he really wants to go on Tides of Brazil right now. We have someone looping around from behind. Looks like it's Bounty Hunter, but they have immediate TP response. So I'm like so close to my boots. I hear Bounty Hunter get swabbed. Looks like he's gonna get stunned, and luckily they don't have a dust for him. So that ends up working out for us. And at the same time, I'm finally gonna farm my boots, and this is. I'm like, oh, thank God, I finally have my boots, my bottle, my magic wand, and I'm like, okay, I'm in okay fighting condition even though I am 0-4. So looking at Chicken MC back to the streets, he went treads, so this will delay his blink dagger. Notice if he didn't bite, he would have had his blink dagger, and I think the game would have been much, much more difficult. But I don't exactly know why he went it. He already has like defensive swap if he really needs it. He has tree armor if he really needs it, and I think that they could just constantly pick the Batrider off, like, or the Faceless Void off, just blink, lasso into a Chaos Bolt, a Venge Stun, a Dro Silence, like whatever it may be, they can usually kill him. So I'm surprised they didn't go that route. A Sentry Ward here, so I'm not very safe to farm up there anymore. But he doesn't actually have enough mana to Time Walk and to Chronosphere, so I tell him I'm going to toss him in. So we end up tossing him and get a double kill on him because he's a Bash Lord, and eventually we're getting kills. So it was 11-5, 11-7 now, and Void. I pretty much have to rely on other people to help me out right now just because I'm so far behind at this point. Chicken MC trying to do some shenanigans on the cliff. This is a very bad place for us to fight because we don't have anything that can traverse cliffs, whereas they have 2 things. They have Chaos Rift, or they actually have 3. They have Chaos, Reality Rift, which can pull you down. They have Vengeful Swap, and they have Batrider, Flame Break, and Lasso. So like Cliffs, I do not want to fight at all. That's just no, absolute no. And it also clumps us up for other spells. Void, I guess, can traverse Cliffs, but he doesn't want to leap down there alone. They have a Sentry Ward over here. Pump Up's trying to chase him. I actually tossed Boogaloo onto him, but we need a track on him if we want to catch him. And I mean, he almost has Firefly up, and he can just bounce up and down the cliff right now. And this is like a very bad place to fight. I'm like, screw this. I can't really hit up my melee, and I want to take the fight somewhere else, somewhere where it's more open, somewhere where he can't cliff us. We have 4 people right now, but he has tree armor, and even with track, it's still like almost impossible to kill him. He's just walking around the cliffs, and we have Faceless Void try and beat him up. We have I tossed Startails onto him, and there comes another tree armor. The reinforcements come in. CK is huge. Still, they don't have sentries, which is very, very surprising. I'm trying my best to escape right now. I have him right on me. They see me with the vengeful Wave of Terror, and I get swapped and I die. So this is pretty much the story of the game. Me beating, and looking at my gold right now, it is 514, so I am just like extremely poor right now. We keep trying to kill Bat, but we can't. He doesn't even have Blink, and we can't kill him, so once he gets Blink, he's just going to run circles around us. I'm just like, oh man, how are we going to get back into this game? Bounty Hunter gets dusted and picked off, and things are just not looking good. Looking at the scoreboard, I'm 1-5, Bounty Hunter is 0-4, but we do have a Farm Faceless Void, and you can't ever count that out, and I'm like very disgruntled that things have gone so poorly, but mostly it's been my fault. Like I messed up mid. I let Batrider kill me. I underestimated tree armor, and I underestimated the haste room. So I don't no one really to blame but myself. It's not like I needed wards middle. It's not like I got ganked by someone in middle. But it looks like they overextend a little bit. 3-man silence. I run out of range because I anticipate the overgrowth and toss CM in. Hopefully he can so he can get someone, and eventually we get a sick chrono by Nano here, and then a 6 CM ultimate from Startails, and we managed to pick up 3 kills. I really wanted to initiate on them there because it was really far away from their tower, and CK wasn't there, so this was a really good place for us to fight because it was a really good place for us to fight because CK wasn't there, and they can't like buy back and TP in. At least not where we fought them. And since they were all on the run, they like kind of clumped as they were gathering back to the mid T1, and Nano was able to pick them off. It looks like Chicken MC back to the streets, has tree armor, he has track, he's trying to do this like cliff shenanigans again, but we can see him up the hill. He takes a lot of nuke damage, and he overestimates tree armor at this point, and we get a couple of kills. So it was very, very important that I dodge that overgrowth. If I didn't dodge that overgrowth, I couldn't have tossed CM in. If I didn't toss CM in, we wouldn't have fought there. If we didn't fight there, then they wouldn't have clubbed. We wouldn't have killed 3 of them with a Chronosphere. We wouldn't have forced out a buyback. It was a really, really big turning point in the game. We almost even out the kill lead, and a lot of it has to do with Nano just having really disgusting Chronospheres. And now I know I'm about to die. I get 2-second stuns. I spend all my money right before I die, and I think I can escape maybe up the hill. I stun him, I have 48 HP, and I spend all my money though, so even if I die I lose 14 gold. I desperately try to die in neutrals. I was actually thinking about dropping my stout shield there, and luckily the satyrs killed me off in time, so that was kind of lucky that I didn't actually die there. So the kill score is 14 and 12, but I guess 13 and 12 because there's 1 suicide. Kills actually, or when he's suicide, it actually counts as a kill for another team. But we have track kills. I don't actually know what the gold difference is and the experience differences, but I can click on that. You just showed himself on bottom. He still has no Blink Dagger, which is absurd considering he was 5-1 at one point, and you saw how much trouble he was causing us this game. So like, oh, maybe we do have a chance, but they immediately take a T1 on top, and I'm like, oh, well. Good news is I have my drums now, and I can actually be like somewhat useful to my team because I can offer aura. I'm more tanky than I was before, and again, you just go with cheap items. You don't aim big. You don't aim for a Blink Dagger. You don't aim for like a Midas. You don't aim for a Scepter. You just go small items that will help you out like right now, because it's a very slippery slope once you start feeding. And I'm sure you, as I've been before, just like constantly feeding, and you're like, oh man, if I had like a little bit more HP, a little more mana, I would have survived. I would have killed the guy and would have changed this game around. But you can't play greedy at this point. I just know I have to spend all my money, even buy a smoke, even though I know I'm not going to use it. And Plum Pup is around, so hopefully we can get a kill. I get silence and my spell's already down. My right click's actually not that strong because I'm very weak at this point. So I get silence and I want to just be able to fog him. So I run over here, wait for my teammates to come. He uses a chrono unnecessarily, but I can't really blame him. He's had really good chronos this game, and he just really wanted to get the kill. So we secure another track kill. Bounty Hunter actually survives too, which is really good. And I asked my team, do you want me to bait, because we see them right now, and they're like, okay, you can bait. And then I go in and bait, but we don't have chronos because he used it on other guys, so it wasn't a good idea, I guess, since our chrono was down. But I asked my team, hey, do you want me to bait? They said, yeah, sure, go and bait. And things actually turned out really poorly for us. Faceless Void ends up dying. We're all running, Turning Tail are running. They use a dust in case Bounty Hunter is still around, and we lose 2 heroes. But keep in mind that we got 2 heroes too. We killed the Drill Ranger, which is pretty important. We got the Vengeful Spirit, and we also got a track kill too. So like, this fight didn't go that poorly for us. Faceless Void is a little bit more important to us than Dro is to their team because they have CK to fall back on. But all in all, about an even trade. So now that we're trading evenly out, things are going a lot better. And I walk mid. I want to get some farm out, but looks like Venge is hot on my tail. CKTP's in to try and kill me, but I try and put on my jukes, runs my team, Boogaloo has his mech finally, and we managed to get a couple of kills. Again, the little bit of drums HP saved me, the Moosey from the drums, like all these small things really matter. Getting this magical wand, a couple of stats, the shout shield, like all these small things add up to survive and to turn these fights around. If I had just died after the Vengeful swap, and one Reality Rift, then we wouldn't have gotten those 2 kills. And now we're actually in the lead, and it looks like a pretty dramatic comeback from my 1-5 start, and now I'm 5, 6, 7. I contribute a lot of kills to my team. I have a Haste Rune, I have 1700 gold, which just like popped out of nowhere. Faceless Void is getting kills using Chronos very effectively. Boogaloo has his mech, and even though I don't think we have any towers down right now, I can like feel things turning for us. So I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll actually win this game. And I was like, should I go Shadow Blade, or should I go Scepter, or should I go Treads? Treads is like the more defensive build if I just want more HP to survive. And at this point, I get a little bit greedy. I'm like, I could probably farm a Shadow Blade with how things are going, and I get more and more confident at this point in the game. And looking around the map right now, it looks like 4 of my heroes are top, and I think I can push out bottom just because I don't think that anyone will be down there like waiting for someone to farm out there. Just looking at it from their perspective, we don't have a T1 or a T2 bottom, so like farming down there is very dangerously, and it seems like a very stupid idea to farm down there because someone could be waiting for me. But what's the probability that they're actually going to be waiting for me down there when there's no T1? It seems like a really stupid idea for me. I can like kind of pretend that I'm like baiting out right now, and I have a haste. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I get overconfident at this point. I'm like, oh, you know, I have a lot of gold. I'm like, close my Shadow Blade. Things are going well. I'm not feeding anymore. And lo and behold, Chiganti TP's in, and as soon as he sees me, there is no reinforcement, and I just die. So that was an oversight and judgment on my part. I thought they would think that I was still playing passive. I would be bait. And because they only devoted 2 heroes, if we had like a Chronosphere that came in, well, Chronosphere was used on top. If we had just like reinforcements that came in, we could have turned things around. But I kind of like thought that they might think that, but instead they take the bait, and there is no bait, and I just die. So I probably should have just bought Treads, still continue to play passively. Like, you can see how like my mindset changes throughout the game. Looks like Tides of Brazil has Mask of Madness. They want to pick up Star Tails, but this fight is a very good place for us to fight. It's close to our T2. It's very, very close to our T2. And we have another decent Chronosphere TPM, but it's like a 7-second TP at this point. Unfortunately, we don't get CK down during the Chronosphere, but we're all coming in, and we have a buyback too from Star Tails, which I think was really good, and we're able to pick up a track kill. Notice I don't pop my loons yet. I use it right after he uses Overgrowth because I don't want them to get caught out, and we're just turning and trying to kill him. CK bought back though, so like a little it's a pretty dangerous fight for us. But notice that the fights that we win, we chase them when we're in a very favorable position. Chicken MC gets tracked up and we hunt him down. CK, he bought back. We see another couple of buybacks right now. Chronosphere has already been used. They think they can take the fight. Boogaloo gets gripped up, but look at this freezing field. Like, StarTales has like really amazing freezing fields this game. He could have armlet toggle right here, but unfortunately he didn't, and we get another track kill. So all in all, it's actually not that bad. CK bought back, he died. Batrider, I think, bought back and died. Joe Ranger bought back and didn't die. So I think we killed like 5 or 6 heroes and we get tracked. But again, the first fight that turned around for us was at the T2, where we chased it from our T2 to their T1, and it's the same thing again. We chase from their our T2 to their T1, so we're like trying to pick smart fights where it's like very far away from the safe theater tower, so Bounty Hunter can do his thing. So they have to like run through various choke points, like as they're retreating back from the T2. They like went down that hill right below our neutrals. That's like a pretty big clumping point. They have to run up their hill to retreat to their T1 tower. That's also a big clumping point. That's where they grouped up for Colonels for the first time. And you just have to play smart, pick really good fights, and not overextend. Not like me going down bottom, getting lassoed and Chaos Knight stunned and just die. But I have 2800 gold right now. I'm like, I see my Shadow Blade inside. I'm like, ooh, I really want to farm it, and I can just kill these creeps and get it. I noticed I also ended up buying treads because I realized that I was playing too aggressively on bottom. I need to just play careful, passive, like I have been after I died like the first 4 times, and that's the smart thing to do. So I ended up setting my buying my trade. I don't know if it actually turned around that fight, but it certainly helped. It helped a lot more than me having 2,000 gold in the bank. And farm up my Shadow Blade and buy it, have money for TP back home, and now I finally have my Shadow Blade. 24 minutes, Shadow Blade, drums, power treads, bottle magic one. Not bad considering I was like 1 and 5, no boots at 10 minutes. So just group up with your team. Don't be stupid and farm in very dangerous spots. Stay close to Bounty Hunter so you can get track kills. Try and bait out with like Necrolite who can double heal you with mech and death pulls. Try and bait them out to come to you so that they clump up for Chronospheres. Just try and pick very smart fights and don't go too aggressively on people. So again, we still haven't made a push yet. Notice that too. We haven't made a push because that's a very, very bad place for us to take a fight when we clump, when they swap into their tower. And I see someone get picked up bottom. Nano is most likely dead right there, but Chaos Knight doesn't actually cast a stun, so they missed out on an easy kill because Chaos Knight didn't actually coordinate well with the Batrider. But up until this point, we haven't pushed a tower, and that's very, very important. If we push, we get lassoed and brought into their tower. We get swapped into their tower. We get Invis tree ulted because we don't have Sentry Wards because we're too poor. So like pushing is just not a good idea. You have to wait for them to be aggressive, and if they don't, then when CM, I'm like, what? CM has a blink? I totally did not expect CM to go in right there. So pick smart fights, farm your jungle, farm in the fog, which is really, really important. Fight uphill, fight close to your tower. That's how you get back in the game. You don't get back in the game necessarily, not with this lineup especially, by 5-banning their tower. It's just not a good idea. And now that we kind of feel like we have a Boogaloo said, don't toss me in, and I actually think we can kill him. I didn't expect this sort of TP reaction, and Boogaloo, unfortunately, looks like the target. I have my Shadow Blade now. It's like plump plump. He said they used dust on me. I'm like, oh no. But I get overconfident here. I'm like, oh, we can probably kill him. Boogaloo. I thought he was gonna toss like Death Pulse, Reaper, and then stun toss, and then he'd die right there. But there's tree armor. It was right next to the tower. So the one fight that we take right next to the tower is a very bad idea. We end up losing 2, maybe it looks like 3 heroes. I actually saved the CM, which actually didn't need saving because he lassoed him. He didn't actually do any damage to him during the lasso. He didn't have Firefly on, so Shield was able to blink out immediately after. And like one bad idea, me tossing in the tower led to us giving up 3 kills. But luckily, Nano gets a free tower on bottom, so it was, at least it wasn't all for naught. But I realized, okay, that was a really dumb idea. We can't fight under their tower yet, at least not as 3 heroes, at least not with Chronosphere, and not with that many people there. So I like keep that as a mental note. We should probably start taking small fights until we accumulate a bigger lead. So I always have this like checks and balances, like, oh, are we strong enough to fight our tower, or should we play more defensively? And if I'm not confident one way or other, or like, oh, we probably are. Sometimes I'll put that theory to the test, and if it doesn't hold to be true, then you just have to keep playing passively. So I'm dead. Almost always when I'm dead, I'm looking around the map. Notice I'm clicked on Necrolite right now, and I'm checking out his items. You should always be doing something while you're dead, just like examining the opponent's movement around the map, looking at their, looking at like where they're farming, looking at their items, looking at your teammates' items, their positioning, their cooldowns. Don't just like go AFK and get a drink. You can get a lot of information during deaths, and almost always you'll see me looking around at the fights, seeing how the fights are progressing. Like, what are my teammates' tendencies? What are my opponents' tendencies in fights? Did they have a dust there? Did they have a gem? They didn't have a gem, and they didn't kill Bounty Hunter. And I was looking at that while I was running there. And a lot of people look. I see a couple heroes miss, so I just want to just like waste their time. But a lot of people just don't look around the map as much as they should. And like Dota has a really big map. There's 5 heroes almost often like spread out. I'm with CM right now, but there are 3 other heroes in like different positions. I need to keep track of them, see what they're doing, see what they're up to, see if they're close to a big item. Like if Boogaloo is really close to a pipe, I want to hold off on that. If Faceless Void is really close to a BKB or even CM, then I want to hold off onto that. Why would I pick a fight when they're like 100 gold from BKB? So always try and be aware of everything that's going on. And I try and do that when I'm alive, but especially so when I'm dead. And when people say like, don't call MIA while they're dead, I think that's like the stupidest thing ever, because you don't have anything else better to do when you're dead. You should at least call missing in your lane. You should be like even more vigilant when you're dead. So enough ranting about that. I'm just farming. I see a lot of the middle. There's no T1 tower on bottom, so I feel pretty safe here. And I have Shadow Blade. They didn't have a dust to kill the Bounty Hunter, so I know that they're not like as vigilant with sentries and dust as they could be, and that they don't have a gem yet. So track up Chicken MC back to the streets. We picked off Venge, so this is like a really good place for us to fight right now if we can initiate. And Radiant knows that, so looking at the minimap, they all back off. I mean, of course, I don't know that because I can't see where they are in game, but you can kind of tell that they're like, why would we fight without Venge? It's really stupid for them. So I know that they back off and play passively. So right now my team wants to do Roshan right now. I'm like, okay, if you guys do that, I'll buy time for us. And notice that like we haven't been able to get like many other towers without doing something else. Like the time we got bottom tower, Nano was down there solo while they killed 3 of us on top. So I know they're not gonna let towers fall on their own. So I like swing top, like fake push out the wave. I like toss the creeps and I clear the creep wave, making it look like I'm about to push a tower. I want them to come up here so that we can just draw away Roshan. And it's kind of like the fake out thing I did bottom, except this time they actually think that there are a lot of people here, and they devote a lot of resources. They have 3 heroes up here. I see one of them with the Observer Ward. Thank goodness this Observer Ward is still here. I would have probably gone on the Drow Ranger there, and I would have gotten last in the tower and just died. But I actually want to stop Batrider's TP because I know my team's pushing bottom, and that they can probably win a fight if Batrider doesn't lasso them because we have the Aegis. So I'm like trying my best to make it a 4-on-4 fight on bottom, but unfortunately I wasn't able to stop the Drow Ranger or the Batrider, and my team is forced to fight out 4v5, which is not a good idea. But Nano has his BKB, and I'm like very surprised that they're winning this fight, and I'm like, wow, are they actually going to turn this around? And I like kind of thought it was a lost cause, but Bounty Hunter actually died. He bought back. He's already TPing there. I should have been there at this fight, but I'm like very surprised that my team is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Startails with his ultimate that just like absolutely crushed them. It killed all the CK illusions. It killed the CK. It killed the Train Protector. It killed the Drow Ranger. I was just like, oh my goodness. They won a 4v5 fight without me and with with Bounty Hunter dying very, very early, and they only lost 1 hero. So they won a 4v5 like very, very convincingly. I don't even think this guy lost his Aegis, but I think they underestimated his BKB. I'm pretty sure he just picked it up, and they also underestimated Freezing Field. So like those 2 spells just like absolutely demolished them, and looks like Nano, as usual, had a really good Chronosphere, and now I'm like, wow, if they can win a 4v5 fight without me, imagine what they can do with me. And all of them are dead right now, so I can just like be on this tower, train, just revive. Batrider could potentially TP2 to T3, or even the T2, and just like, my light is going crazy right now. Anyways, Batrider could have TP'd to the T2, blinked on me, and then dusted and lassoed, so I don't want to take that risk. And although I could have put on more damage at the tower because they're all busy bottom, it's not worth the risk. And I'm in this like passive mindset that I don't need to take unnecessary risk. I see a DD on bottom. Boogaloo says, hey Nano, you should probably take this and then crush people since you have Chrono up. And I don't know why he doesn't take it. If he took it before 32, I could have gotten a 32-minute rune. I specifically remember this through the game, but I'm working on my Scepter now. Scepter is probably the next best item in this. I go Shadowblade because I don't actually have that much damage, so like Scepter is not really that useful when you don't have any damage, although it is useful because it gives you a ton of HP. I need a Shadowblade more for fights. I'm not really like a farming Tiny at this point. I'm more like very active in our team's fights, and they get some kills on bottom, try and turn this fight around by tossing the Chaos Knight back into us, and we get 3-man silence and and Overgrowth, and things are not looking very good for us right now. But Startails with his blink, he has a BKB now for crying out loud, and things looks like they're handled very well now. I think that Startails and Nano just play like extremely well this game. Usually you don't see him have this much of an impact, but looking at her items and her record, she's 10-5. That's like way better record than me. That's like almost as good of a record as Faceless Void, and she's been involved in more kills. She has a blink, a BKB, phase boots. Like, what in the world is going on? And that was like as a support, Crystal made it in the triple lane. So like if you think that supports can't make a difference, that is absolutely not true. Now we're trying to bust through backdoor, but we're pretty confident we have this game in the bag right now. Still Aegis on Faceless Void. We've 5-0'd them, or 5-1 in like 2 fights now, and we can't really take anything else after this. But I'm still in the passive mindset. I'm like, well, we took this. I don't want to overextend, so I back off. We can't take out the T3s or the T4s right now, unless they just like sit in Fountain. But for the most part, I'm still like very careful, just because I was on a massive feeding spree this game. And right now I have my Scepter. If I walk by the Sash, I should be able to get it, but I try and toss someone back right now, but they have so many forms of detection right now. And I'm like, Boogaloo, save me! These images on me, and I get hit. I have 50 HP left, but thank goodness for Boogaloo's heals right now. And I'm just like sitting in the back. I don't want to die to a stray like Flame Break, or like that Wave of Terror actually would have killed me because it does 90 damage. And looks like they're trying to get another kill on Nano, but he backs off, and I'm just trying to stay like well out of range. It's nighttime, and I know like the vision range of nighttime is 800 range for most heroes, although not Dro. Dro has full nighttime vision, and I just want to be very careful not to just die to stray Yui. That has happened to me before, but I still want to be able to contribute with like a stun when other spells are down, and like a toss just for extra damage. Like that stuff does add up sometimes, and Nano just solo Chronos Chicken MC. He's level 16 plus, so his level 3 Chrono is only 100 seconds. It's just a little bit longer than Batrider's Revive, so it's not a bad idea at this point in the game, and we're so far ahead that it doesn't actually really matter. So again, just like closing thoughts for the game. When you're behind, spend money on small items. Like I bought Magic Wand before boots because I didn't even think I'd be able to farm boots. It's like very small pieces, 150 gold for recipe, 53 for each branch. I already had the Magic Wand to start off with, and after that I farmed brown boots. And then I should have gotten treads faster, but miraculously I had like 1200 gold, so I was like, oh, I might as well get a drum so I can help my team a little bit more. Treads doesn't actually help your team. I mean, sure, it helps in that you can tank, but just go for mass HP, go Bracer Gaming, go straight treads, go Magic Wand, just get TP scrolls, buy smokes for your team, Obs Wars, Sentry Wars. Make sure you try and spend your gold if you think you're going to die very soon. Don't farm in very dangerous places. Farm in the fog always if you can, by like doing neutral, stacking neutrals. Tiny's very good at actually taking out neutrals. And We actually get a free kill on Chaos Knight right there, but at this point the game is almost over, so I'll probably stop talking about the game and more about like what to do when you're behind. Just try and fight with your supports, because how am I going to solo kill a bat, especially with tree armor? It's just not going to happen. So my team also realized that, and they rotate to help me. So if you're a support and your mid is having a lot of trouble, don't expect him to win his lane after he's already died 2 or 3 times. You need to ward him up in middle so that he doesn't die to extra people rotating around. I toss him into it and he gets stuck in the chrono. Trying to KS there. So we got CM and Necrolite also like smoke and gank. Even though Necrolite's like not the best ganker, especially not like pre-level 6, they still come and help me out because they know that I need to get back in the game, and that as a solo mid it's a pretty important role, and they need to help me survive, help me get kills, help keep Batrider down, delay his blink dagger, and I think my supports play very well this game. And yeah, Necrolite not the best support, but he'll make do. And I try and fight with Bounty Hunter a lot, get a lot of track gold, try and fight with CM and Void just to like take a lot of damage. You can say like take aggro. It's not like a traditional RPG where yeah you can like taunt NPCs and get aggro that way, but you just want to be like up in their face. You want to like bait out a lot of spells, whether it be Overgrowth, Chaos Knight stun, Batrider lasso, just so Void can do his thing. Like Void with the Mask of Madness and Battle Fury and Agi threats, he is going to die like a fly if he gets lassoed into them. So I need to be the one that like that takes all the damage. I have strength. I'm a strength hero, so I have a lot of strength to begin with. I have craggy exterior for free armor and chance to stun if people want to attack me. I have magic stick, so I can magic stick up if I get focused, and I just need to soak up damage so everyone else can do their thing. I have people that can heal me up too. I have CM with a very damaging ultimate. I need to keep Bounty Hunter alive so he can keep tracking people and my other teammates can get gold. It's just, my life's like not that important per se, but it's still important for my team that I still like be there and fight. And like people have this like really negative view of dying in team fights. Oh, you shouldn't have died there, but sometimes it is necessary for you to die, and sometimes you do have to die for the greater good of your team. So oftentimes I'll just like run in, take a little bit of damage with my like massive HP pool and my massive defensive build, and eventually it'll work out in the end. So this is a video of me coming back from a very huge deficit. Check and MC almost got out of control. I think the Treads build really cost them. I talked about that before. Chaos, I think everyone else like did decently though. Chaos Knight had his Treads armlet very fast, but notice his item progression after that was very slow. Notice Bounty Hunter, as soon as he hit level 6, he rotated mid. I think he even rotated mid before level 6 too. So that was also very important. So thanks to my team, thanks to the viewers for watching this. And again, I'm trying to release like 1 or 2 Merlini Plays Dota 2 a week. Again, this is very different from my usual solo mid tiny the Soul Ring bottle build, which I have a very high win rate with. But my next video should probably be about Captain's Draft. People have been asking me, oh, you know, how do you draft? And I've been trying to talk about it, but it's a very, very different beast than Captain's Mode. So look forward to that in the next couple days. And as usual, please subscribe to me at youtube.com/MerliniDota. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, all/MerliniDota. Mailbag should be coming out. It comes out every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. If you have questions, please email me at mailbag@merlinidota.com so I have more content to produce more videos. Thanks again.